The history of Turkish society is rich and complex. Turks, who have a history of thousands of years, have shown their influence in many parts of the world today, starting from the steppes of Asia. Throughout this long and complex history, there have been many different periods, states, cultures, and events. Let's try to explain this history in broad strokes. Ancient Turkish societies and First Turkish states, 2000 BC, 700 AD. The history of the Turks begins with nomadic communities in the Central Asian steppes around the Altai Mountains. Turkish communities in this period are known for their horse breeding and nomadic lifestyle. The Hun Empire, one of the first important Turkish states, emerged in the 3rd century BC and established a strong sphere of influence in Central Asia. The Huns spread to Europe and fought various wars against the Roman Empire. Then came the Gokturks. The Gokturks united the Turkish communities in Central Asia and established the first Turkish Khaganate. After the Gokturks, Uyghur, Kyrgyz, Oghuz, and many other Turkish tribes and states emerged. Pre-Islamic Turkish states and the Islamization process is a very important period. Here are more details about this period. Pre-Islamic Turkish states, 6th century AD, 10th century AD. Pre-Islamic Turkish states refer to the political structures formed by nomadic Turkish tribes living in and around the Central Asian steppes. Among the important Turkish states in this period are the Gokturks, Uyghur Khaganate, Karakanids, Oghuz, Kyrgyz, and various other Turkish tribes. Gokturks. The Gokturks were one of the first great states in Turkish history, founded in Central Asia in the 6th century AD. The Gokturk Khaganate, which was established twice, brought together the Turkish tribes in Central Asia and formed a united Turkish state. The Gokturks established an effective political structure in and around Central Asia. Uyghur Khaganate. The Uyghurs are another Turkish state that gained power in Central Asia after the fall of the Gokturks. The Uyghur Khaganate became the center of art, culture, and literature in Central Asia. The Uyghurs adopted religions such as Buddhism and Manichaeism. Karakanids. Karakanids is a Turkish state that made significant contributions to the spread of Islam in Central Asia. Founded in the 10th century, the Karakanids accepted Islam and became Muslims. During the Karakanids period, Islamic culture spread to Central Asia. Islamization and Turkish Islamic syncretism. Turkish communities came into contact with the spread of Islam from the Arabian Peninsula to Central Asia. The spread of Islam to these regions led Turkish communities to adopt Islam and interact with Islamic culture. In this process, a cultural and political synthesis called the Turkish Islamic synthesis emerged. Religious conversion. Turkish communities accepted Islam and became Muslims. With the acceptance of Islam, the use of the Arabic alphabet became widespread among the Turks. Cultural interaction. With the acceptance of Islam, Turks interacted with Islamic culture and produced important works in the fields of art, architecture, literature, and science. Especially Turkish miniature art and Turkish architecture developed in this period. Political impact. The process of Islamization also affected the political structures of Turkish communities. Islamized Turkish states became important political actors in the Islamic world. In this process, many Islamized Turkish states were established in and around Central Asia. The Great Seljuk Empire and Turkish Islamic Civilization, 1000 AD, 1300 AD. In the 11th century, the Great Seljuk Empire becomes the dominant power in the Middle East and Anatolia. The most brilliant period of the Great Seljuk Empire is experienced during the reigns of Sultan Alp Arslan and Sultan Melikshah. During this period, Turkish Islamic civilization experienced its golden age and many works of science, art, and architecture emerged. Turkish principalities in Anatolia, 13th, 14th centuries. The conquest of Anatolia began when the Seljuk Sultan Alparslan opened Anatolia to the Turks at the Battle of Malazgirt in 1071. During this period, Anatolia witnessed the emergence of various Turkish principalities, Seljuk Sultanate. After the conquest of Anatolia, the Seljuk state controlled a large part of Anatolia. During this period, Islamic culture spread to various parts of Anatolia. Anatolian Seljuk State. It is a Turkish principality established in Anatolia after the collapse of the Great Seljuk Empire. Anatolian Seljuk Empire left many cultural and architectural artifacts. Principalities, period. After the weakening of the Anatolian Seljuk Empire and the Mongol invasion, various Turkish principalities were established in Anatolia. These include principalities such as Karamanids, Germanids, Aydinids, Kandarids, Saruhanids, Hamitids. Each of them established sovereignty in its own region and left cultural influences. Rise of the Ottoman Empire, 13th century, 15th century. The Ottoman Principality was first established in Anatolia by Osman Gazi. The Ottomans started to conquer the Byzantine lands in the process that started with the principalities they founded in Soğut in 1299. Orhan Gazi period. During the reign of Orhan Gazi, the second ruler of the Ottoman Principality, conquests in the Balkans accelerated. The Ottomans took Bursa and established their first capital city, Yildirim Bayezid period. During the Yildirim Bayezid period, the Ottomans continued to expand in the Balkans. However, Timur's invasion of Anatolia and the defeat in the Battle of Ankara started a period of decline for the Ottomans. Mehmed the Conqueror period. With the conquest of Constantinople by Mehmed the Conqueror, the Ottomans put an end to the Byzantine Empire and became a great empire. The conquest of Istanbul took place in 1453, and the Ottomans replaced the Eastern Roman Empire, marking an important turning point in world history. After this period, the Ottoman Empire continued to expand both in the East and the West. They also made important conquests in Europe. In the 17th century, the Ottoman Empire gradually weakened in the face of the strengthening states in Europe and disintegrated in the 20th century due to various internal and external factors. The War of Independence and the Proclamation of the Republic, 1919–1923. In 1919, under the leadership of Mustafa Kemal Pasha, the Turkish nation started the War of Independence against the occupation of Istanbul. In this process, a struggle is fought on the fronts in Anatolia and a resistance is shown. In 1920, the Grand National Assembly of Turkey, TBMM, was opened, and the center of government was moved to Anatolia. In 1923, with the Treaty of Lausanne, Turkey was recognized internationally. On 29 October 1923, the Republic of Turkey is proclaimed, and Mustafa Kemal Pasha, later known as Ataturk, becomes the first head of state as president. Reforms under Ataturk, 1923–1938. Ataturk undertakes extensive reforms to restructure Turkey as a modern republic. These reforms cover many areas such as the adoption of the principle of secularism, important support for women's rights, the establishment of a new legal system, radical changes in education, and the transition to the Latin alphabet. During this period, Turkey experienced significant social, economic, and cultural changes. Democratization process and multi-party. Period, 1945–1960. After Ataturk's death, Turkey switched to a multi-party political system. Multi-party elections were organized in 1946, and a multi-party democratic structure was established. However, political instability and economic problems were experienced during this period. With the 1960 coup d'etat, the period of military intervention begins again in Turkey. Military interventions and democracy, 1960–2000. Turkey faced military coups in 1960, 1971, 1980, and 1997. During these periods, democratic processes were suspended, political parties were closed down, and the country went through long periods of instability. However, after each coup, the process of return to democracy began, and political reforms were realized. Especially since the beginning of the 2000s, Turkey has taken important steps towards democracy and human rights. Today's Turkey and future perspective, 2000–present. In the 2000s, Turkey took important steps towards economic growth, democratization, and playing an influential role in international relations. However, it also faces many challenges such as domestic political polarization economic difficulties, terrorist threats, and tensions in foreign relations. Today, Turkey is going through a complex period and faces uncertainties about the future.